chapter 8 is where we're going to go into. If you didn't read or if you didn't watch the video prior to this, it's called Leah's Obsession with David Miscavige. You should read that for context, okay, as an introduction to this chapter. This book is very, very, very thick with information, okay? So it was kind of hard to put things in one chapter when they meant two different things, right? So there it is. So this is Where is Shelly? Okay? Rimini and her attackers are using Where's Shelly, quote unquote, as a go-to public relations statement. It was started before Leah became an attacker of Scientology. We're talking about Leah Rimini, right? Became an attacker of Scientology. Tony Ortega, which is the supporter of Backpage.com, yeah, that's gross, right? And Mike Rinder have been pushing this statement forever, okay, to create controversy and to get paid because the rent is due every month, right? But Shelly Miscavige is not missing. This is shocking for those who are tricked into believing this. Now, you can take it as fact, you can take it as I'm crazy. Whatever you've heard, I'm pretty sure you're even like, why is it still around and why haven't people investigated it, right? If this were true, and if this were true, the LAPD wouldn't have said she's not missing, wouldn't have gone to the residence, wouldn't have knocked on the door, wouldn't have seen Shelly say, I'm here, everything's okay, and invited them in and whatever. She's very friendly. She just wants her privacy. That was the agreement. So here, let me read this, right? This is actually a statement that Leah kept pushing with hope that David Miscavige or an official from Scientology would say something about it and go against what the leader's wife agreed to. This would expose herself and open herself up for attacks by the public and the media. Shelly Miscavige is a really phenomenal person, right? Okay? She made an agreement with the church and with her husband, David Miscavige, to have privacy. That's it, to have privacy. She didn't want to be in the spotlight. She wanted to just continue on with her work and her life in privacy and not in the spotlight. That's totally all right. That is her right. She's okay to do that, right? So this is a publicity stunt led by Leah. Mike Rinder and Tony Ortega are following her lead. So this is Leah Rimini's former guru, right? The guru for information or whatever, right? He just exposes this because he also was in the church, but this time he's just going to go into detail about this. This was an interview he did with the church to expose what's going on with Leah and Mike and so on and so forth, because he just got tired of their lies and their cons and whatever, right? Interesting. So he escaped. He actually escaped. He wasn't expelled from Leah's posse. He wasn't, you know, whatever. He wasn't told to leave. He like ran away. Okay, he ran away from the anti-Scientology cult. Now this is what he has to say. One of the critical parts of the Rinder Ortega Rimini rollout of Rimini was the quote-unquote missing Shelly Miscavige, the wife of David Miscavige. And you know, at the time in 2013, I think it was, Rinder told me about that she was going to do a whole thing about quote-unquote where's Shelly, and put the church in an unbelievable, terrible position. Because, you know, he figured it all out because he's been in public relations his entire life. And he figured so just read that and just take that in for a second. They're framing this accusation. It's not even real. It's just an accusation. They've made a statement and they're pushing it as fact. They know it's not real. It's been going on since 2013, apparently. They rolled it out with Leah. Okay, now they're in the spotlight. Now you're going to believe it, right? Because how could they put it on TV if it wasn't true, right? So here it is. Here's more. And I said, Mike, why would Leah do something like this? If she has any concern about her own credibility and integrity, she's not missing. You know that Leah Remini truly doesn't have the rank to ask to know exactly where she is, when, and how she does her business. That just as much as she feels like, that she needs the ability to be wherever she wants and associate with whomever she wants, Shelly has the exact same rights. And that the last person in the world Shelly or she'd want to see is Leah Remini or Mike Rinder. Mike goes and says, yeah, I know all that. But it's like the perfect thing because it puts them in a position where this is the wife of the head of Scientology. It puts them in this untenable position. Think about that for a second. This is not true. This accusation that they're putting against the church, he just admitted it. Mike Rinder, the right-hand man of Leah Remini, just admitted it puts the church in an untenable position. He knows he's not missing. He knows she's not missing. It's just an accusation. It's just an allegation. It's just a buzzword to get your attention, to get your money. He knew it was a scam from the beginning. He knew it was a cheap shot from the beginning. I was certain that Rinder conned her, Leah, on the Shelly story, being a story of manufacture. And then when I called her out on it, she said, this is what Leah says. Oh yeah, I already knew that. I was running a false black PR campaign the entire time. Okay, now if anybody doesn't know what a black PR campaign, it's a term in the Church of Scientology, right? Where it's just a false campaign that to smear somebody. Okay, so it's like in public relations, black PR, right? So black public relations. So it's bad public relations, right? It's a false story. It's false information that you're spreading about somebody. A rumor, a misconception, whatever, and so on, right? This is what Mike Rinder and Leah Remini know. If they even got an inch out of the church, information-wise. I said, Mike Rinder knows this is a scam and a sham. And if you had asked me about it and asked my opinion, you wouldn't have gotten into this in the first place. She goes, this is what Leah says. I know that. I knew she wasn't missing. In other words, she told me she is in complete and utter league and agreement with Mike Rinder. At that time, I was just giving her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was being taken advantage of because Mike, that's what he is famous for. He's the most agreeable guy on the planet, and people find that reassuring to have him around them. So he's making good, regular bucks by playing that role for her. But no good, regular bucks. Yeah, so he says, but no, she knew that. That was cool with her. In other words, she knew it was a scam from the beginning. Now, listen to this. The amazing thing is that was 2014, 15, 16. We're 3 years later, and they're still running it. Every several months or so, they roll this thing out again. They come out with an event, a PR event. She'll file a FOI, or Freedom of Information, request with the police. And Ortega will run this big thing and try to get it out to the tabloids. She's complaining because the police aren't investigating the Shelly thing, right? They get their documents, their responses, no further story, right? Because there's nothing there. But they don't inform the troll farm. All these people living in this alternate reality, that they believe this world view that they are being fed by Remini, Rinder, and Ortega, who are laughing all the way to the bank. So the people that are part of this posse, this cult, right? This anti-Scientology cult. They are believing that Shelly's missing. They're believing this because it's a con. They just admitted it here. These are their words, not mine. These are their words. Okay? So you can see that Leah basically made this up with Mike Render and Tony Ortega. It's false, and it's done for publicity, and it's a waste of law enforcement's time and resources. No matter whom you are or who you think you are and what you've done, you've got to understand that respecting law enforcement is a priority. People who follow this story as reality need to wake up and smell the cow dung. It's unrealistic, and it's there to make money and popularity. Shelly Miscavige is not missing, and here's a statement from the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department, when they were investigating it. Okay, when it was first filed in 2013, this is what they said. The investigation has been closed, and we consider the report to be unfounded. Why? 3 hours after the report was filed in 2013, a month after the church expelled Leah, they found her at her residence, alive and well. The LAPD wasted 3+ hours following a case that was falsely reported. This time could have been spent stopping a crime from happening, protecting an LA school from shooters, and even stopping a speeding car or a reckless driver. You get the idea. These are the kind of reports that shouldn't be allowed to persist and be publicized as an actual matter. Leah, Mike, and Tony have no idea how important law enforcement's time is, and they will continue to until they're instructed not to by law enforcement officials. If you're a police officer, if you are a firefighter, if you are any of the first responders, I thank you and I honor your time. And I will never, ever, ever put a false report out there. I will never waste your time. I will always guarantee that your time is valued and used wisely. So this needs to stop. It has happened since 2013 when her obsession with David Miscavige grew even larger as Scientology expelled her. She has no way of contacting him or Scientology. When you're expelled for heinous crimes that you've done that are pretty alarming, you have one way in, and that's how to use the Introduction to Scientology Ethics book from L. Ron Hubbard. If you look at that, there's the steps that the church will allow you to do to apply for re-entry into the church. There it is. Yeah, and then I wanted to go ahead and just go ahead and end it there. Go ahead and read the chapter when you guys get the book at exposingcrimes.com. This is the book called Escaping Leah. This is chapter 8, page 46 to 50. Okay, 4 pages of juicy material that you're going to love and use. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'll see you in chapter 9.